Doctrine of Fascism, written by Mussolini himself. I'm not going to read the whole thing because ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, here we go. Fascism desires the state to be strong and organic, based on broad foundations of popular support. The fascist state lays claim to rule in the economic field no less than in others. It makes its action felt throughout the length and breadth of the country by means of its corporative, social, and educational institutions, and all the political, economic, and spiritual forces of the nation, organized in their respective associations, circulating within the state. A state based on millions of individuals who recognize its authority, feel its action, and are ready to serve its ends is not the tyrannical state of a medieval lordling. It has nothing in common with the despotic states existing prior to or subsequent to 1789. Far from crushing the individual, the fascist state multiplies his energies, just as in a regiment a soldier is not diminished, but multiplied by the number of his fellow soldiers. I am blown away when I read that, and I think about how people can just willy-nilly accept the fact that the government should be in charge of everything. Oh man, the maniacal mentality that these people must have. But it's a human struggle because we see it. I talk about like the fractal nature of reality all the time. What these crazy leaders deal with, we also deal with, but on a smaller scale. We just have a different scale, but we're dealing with the same issues of the battle of good and evil within the self. Alexander Solzhenitsyn is quoted as saying, the battle between good and evil runs through every person's heart. And I believe that. I believe we're all animals and we all have to learn to be conscious and transcend that animalistic nature. That's, yeah, okay. Let's get to how this equates to modern leftism. Modern leftists, it's weird. I was having this conversation with a friend yesterday, how he doesn't understand what happened to them because he used to picture the Democrats as the people who didn't like the government, who believed in freedom, who believed in small businesses. And in the last 10 years, it feels like that is not what the left represents anymore. The left represents supporting the establishment, and in a very scary fashion. Let's talk about the jabs. That's just the most recent example. It is the height of hypocrisy, peak irony, absolute projection that Joe Biden is calling other people fascist when his administration partnered with a private company using tax dollars to create a substance that then they tried to force people to take, a questionable substance. That is quite literally fascism. Let me just bring this back. By means of its corporative, social, and educational institutions. Corporative, not cooperative, corporative, as in the merger of the corporations and the state. That's what we have. And it's not just the pharmaceutical industry that we see this in. We look at the media industry. We just recently had some disclosures of how the FBI has been in touch with our social media institutions. And this is not the first time that it has happened. We all know this. We don't all know this. I'm sorry. That's why I'm making these videos, because some of you don't know this. And it can be very hard to begin to accept that corruption and evil has permeated every aspect of our institutions. I understand the cognitive dissonance. I went through it myself. That's why I'm a crazy person. 10 years ago, I was a very straight edged corporate hotshot type. I mean, I wasn't a hotshot. I was like, yeah, but like I had a corporate job and whatever. Um, I was on track to become one of them. I cannot tell you how many times in the last 10 years I've heard this expression. What happened to you, Andrew? I used to think you were a smart, cool dude. I still think I'm smart and cool. Well, actually, I'm a fucking idiot, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to be better, and I think I love that when I accept that I am imperfect and that every day is an opportunity to become better. God, that's why I love philosophy so much. I often talk about how I dislike dogmatic religions, but that does not mean I'm not a man of faith or of morality. Um, Man, there's just so much beauty in philosophy that can be found. Um, so, anyways, let's try and circle back to the video topic of modern day leftism is just fascism. How many of your friends and family have you had these conversations with where it feels like they're being authoritarian or tyrannical? Uh, I'm trying to think like, uh, okay, focus. I'm 6 minutes in. I don't want to end this video, so we're going to try and pull out more. Nope, we're going to end it. We're going to end it here. Thank you all. I'm sorry. Let's talk more. Leftism, fascism, just think about it. The government, tyranny, your friends trying to coerce you into living how they think you should live. The backwards reality of how we're being told we need to give up freedoms to have freedoms. That makes no sense. It makes no sense. Uh, Authoritarianism, fascism, whatever word we end up using, our government is fucked. And I know that can be really hard to like acknowledge. Really hard to acknowledge. I understand that. I'm asking you to just set aside biases, prejudices, look at your community, look at the outcomes of the last 40 years of your voting habits and of our politicians' behavior and of everything that is being exposed. This is just the beginning of the awakening and the disclosure. So much more is going to come out. I'm not a divine source at all. I'm not a channeler. I'm not special. I consume a lot of content from people that I think are special. When I see someone is onto something, I'll consume their content. So I'm like a data consumer and aggregator, and I'm just trying to share. I do have wisdom and knowledge I want to share, but like nothing fancy. I'm more of just like a dude who wants to have conversations. I fucking love having conversations. I do. But it's just, there is no talking with the left. There just isn't. And it bums me out. But maybe we can change that. We can change that. Thank you for listening, y'all. Much love. I got to go do some door dashing. Maybe I'll make another video. Love you.